Hey guys, how we doing?
Good.
Everybody doing good?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here. I have the privilege of introducing our speaker for you today, and I'm actually going to come up at the end and give you just a couple of quick updates and announcements. But I want to introduce you guys to Amir. Joe Rodriguez and I were at an event. Joe, what's that been? A year ago now? Yeah. We were at an event at a cigar shop, and to be honest, we were probably there more for the cigars than anything. But we heard this guy Amir was going to be there, and he was speaking. And I'm like, okay, this will be cool. This will be interesting. And I got to hear Amir speak and tell a little bit of his story. And Joe and I left that night thinking, we got to get this guy to Viera F.U.E.L. because both Joe and I, the event was down in Melbourne, and both Joe and I, after listening to Amir speak, were like, hey, why don't we just run home? We don't need the car. You know, we felt like we could run through a wall after hearing this guy speak. And so Amir is a Navy SEAL, and he'll share a lot of that with you. But I've literally spent probably 30 minutes around this guy, and I immediately had a ton of respect for him, not just because of the fact that he served our country, but there's just some guys that are unique, and they earn your respect immediately. And so, Amir, I've never even shared that with you, and you probably don't even remember meeting me, but that's what I think of you, and it's an honor to have you here with us today. So, everyone, this is Amir.
Okay. Does this get me covered if I sit up here?
Yes, sir. You look good.
Hey, my name is Amir Pishdad. I'm a retired lieutenant commander in the United States Navy SEAL. I started out at the age of 17, wanted to join the Army. I wanted to be Green Beret. I wanted to shoot guns, blow stuff up, and I wanted to scuba dive just like John Wayne did in the Green Beret. And my uncle said to me, well, what do you like the best about what they do? And I said, well, I really love the scuba diving because I've been watching Lloyd Bridges and Sea Hunt, watching Richard Widmark and the Frogmen, and I said, I got to do that. And then he said, why don't you become a frogman? 6 words changed my entire life. Okay? And everybody in this room, at some point in your life, something or someone has said something to you that led you down that path of where you are today. Or has led you in a path that you're still achieving. And so I immediately joined the Navy at 17, finished high school, and came right into the Navy in August of 1973. And in January of 1975, I graduated as a Navy Underwater Demolition Team SEAL. It was called UDT SEAL. Went from Coronado, California to Little Creek, Virginia with the Underwater Demolition Team 21. Made a deployment, went to a bunch of schools, came back. Eventually I went to A school, became an electrician's mate, because SEAL at the time, UDT SEAL was not a rating. It's something that you can't test on to get promoted. And then I ended up going to SEAL Team 2. Finished my 4-year career in SEAL Team 2. I got out and went to Virginia Commonwealth University. It was more focused on what I wanted to do from high school, and I had promised my father that if he let me join at 17 early, I would be indebted to him. I'd go to college when I got out, and I would be focused on what I wanted. So I accomplished a business administration degree at Virginia Commonwealth University in 2.5 years. And then from there, I was 3 weeks before graduation, or from finishing my class. I never attended a college graduation. Richard Marcinko was starting a new command, former commanding officer of SEAL Team 2. This was in the fall of 1980. Excuse me, in the spring of 1980. And Mr. Marcinko came to me and said, I would like for you to come to the new unit I'm starting. And I said, yes, sir. I'd go anywhere, anytime with you. He said, let's go right now over to Pentagon. You'll be in my Navy this afternoon. I said, yes, sir. And he's serious. And I said, Captain, you really ought to know what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. I said, in 3 Fridays from now, I'll have my degree in hand. And he thought about it for a second, had his arm around me, poked me in the chest, and said, Pish, I want you to go back to school, get that degree, but put your paperwork in for commission, and I'll take care of it. So I put it in on Monday morning the next day, and 2 Mondays later, I'm signing papers back in the Navy to come on that Friday. And now here's the point I really want to make. I'm signing the paperwork, and the recruiter says, "Excuse me, Mr. Pishdad, can I ask you a question?" He's a lieutenant, and here I was just a third-class electrician's mate, enlisted man. But I was a Navy SEAL. And he said, "Who are you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "No one gets orders in 2 weeks in the regular Navy. You've got orders to go to Officer Candidate School this Friday. You must be someone special." And I said, "You know, Lieutenant, there's 2 signs that are at the Bud's compound, basic underwater demolition SEAL training, where I entered the compound. And the first sign right on the quarterdeck, the formal location for ceremonies on a Navy ship, it's called the quarterdeck. And it says, volunteer in, volunteer out, because no one gets to become a Navy SEAL or other programs in the armed forces that require special talents or special forces unless you volunteer. You have to volunteer for it. But it's the second sign that's the most intriguing. And that sign is over the PT stand, still there today, and in 3 words it says, "Be someone special." So yes, sir, I am someone special, but no more special than any other man that wears the Navy SEAL trident, which is on my chest. "You have any more questions?" He says, No, not at all. So he doesn't know anything about Marcinko even to this day. But I'm writing a book. It's called Frogman 80. It's only as hard as you make it. So that's an important concept, isn't it? Because no matter what we do in life, no matter what we challenge, some people just can't get enough of what they throw at you. But in every situation in life that we do, it's always going to be as hard as we make it. Okay? We're the only obstacle is achieving your own goal. Right now, who's living their own dream right now? Let me see you raise your hands. Who's living your dream? Come on, yeah, everybody's hand should be raised, even those that listen on this podcast, because no one else is going to live your dream. You have to live your dream. Okay, one of my primary questions I ask the youth of the day when I do speeches with the youth or go up to them and talk to them is ask them who's living your dream or who's going to live your dream. You have to live your own dream. You have to be inspired. Isn't it amazing that this program, which is called F.U.E.L. is based on the first letter of something, the most significant thing, not just to be a Christian, but to do anything in life. You have to have faith. To be a SEAL, this word fuel, faith, unity, evangelism, and leadership, right? Well, and in the Navy and all the armed forces, we have a lot of acronyms. SEAL is an acronym. It stands for sea, air, and land. Team. Well, that's what it takes to have faith. You have to have teamwork. Team is an acronym. It stands for team. Together, everyone achieves more. So, in having faith to be a SEAL, you have to have faith to be in the armed forces. We have a lot of people here in the armed forces here who have served. Look at that. I bet there's a lot of people out there listening, showing hands. Or you're a first responder. I saw a young man here earlier. You know, there's a lot of people that are doing things that require faith. And you have to have faith in your fellow man, your fellow worker, your individual that you work beside, or the person you work with or for. Faith is an integral part of your success. Faith in God. You know, I had an opportunity to address you guys briefly when we had a young speaker here that was speaking about him going around doing evangelistic work. Well, I'm a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in San Diego. And been a member of the church, grew up when I was about 15 years old. And so I know what it means to have a belief in something greater than ourselves. Something that leads us every day. Something that helps drive our motivation, our enthusiasm, our focus. There's 3 things that you have to have in life in order to accomplish anything. First, you have to have a passion for it. It's called a focus. The best example is you say, well, why do you want to be a frogman? Well, I want to be that man. Why do you want to be an engineer? I want to do what that guy does. You know, why do you want to work on automobiles? Because I just love turning those tools. I just love the sound of the mechanics of that wrench cranking around and what I get accomplished at the end of the day. You've got to have a passion for it. You've got to want it so bad that the next day you can hardly wait to do it again. That's passion. And when you feel that every day, you know you're doing the right thing. When you got to have the second ingredient is you got to have belief in yourself, self-confidence. No matter what you do, if you don't believe that you can do it, you won't. And the third thing you got to have, I know everybody knows the third word to the formula, attention to, come on, all together, detail. Attention to detail. Attention to detail is the information that you got to use to accomplish each rung on that ladder to success. To get up to this ladder, to move over to the next one. There's no elevator to the top, and there's no one ladder that takes you all the way up. And so you have to accomplish those things to do that. Same thing in SEAL training. For 6 months to do the basic program. Every single day, multiple evolutions. And you have to pass every single one. You can't fail in any of them. You ever wonder, ever wonder in the Olympics, when there's any evolution, any one of the events, that no matter how many guys or gals can participate in a single sport, how many people, let's just say the mile run, how many people can win a medal in just that one event? Three. Gold, silver, and bronze. Only 3 people. Does that mean that in the last heat for the mile run, about eight competitors running, that the guy at the end doesn't matter? No, there may only be a fraction of a second apart. Do you ever wonder, when the guys are running, that line, even in the last heat, the line stretches out maybe 50 yards, 40 yards between the guy in the front and the guy in the back? You ever notice that? I don't care which heat it is, especially the last one. The one I'm talking about right now is the last heat. And they're running for that gold, bronze, and silver medal. You ever wonder what the guy at the end is thinking? The guy at the very end? Now, he already knows that only 3 guys can get medals. Everybody else that got eliminated knows that only 3 guys get medals. But you know what he's got on his shoulders that most people don't have? He's an Olympian. He knows he made it there. That was his goal, to become an Olympian. Trained for many years to get to that position. And for the rest of his life, he'll be an Olympian. He'll be known for having come to the Olympics. It really doesn't matter that he didn't get a medal, because with that credentials that he has, he can go anywhere and do many things. Those guys become teachers, educators, they become business individuals, leaders in our community, because they've already got the ethics and the focus of knowing the passion, the self-confidence, and the attention to detail it takes to accomplish a goal. They're experts at it. They're professionals at it. And that's what's really unique. Well, look at the guys that come to SEAL training. Well, my class started with 59 guys. We don't really start counting individuals in our training class, in the training classes, how many guys you start until you start Hell Week, which is usually around the 3rd or 4th week. And that's where the training gets a little tougher. They call it Hell Week because it's about a week of training. 5.5 days, could go into 6. We started with 19. We lost 40 guys the first 2 weeks in my training class. So, we finished Hell Week with the same 19 guys. And we, in my class, class number 80, we graduated all 19 guys. Wow. The only class that's ever done it in the history of SEALs. There's now class 300, and I think 32 just finished Hell Week. And they go sequential. So our class was number 80. Graduated January 24, 1975. So a lot of classes, a lot of men have come through. There's approximately close to a total of around 15,000 men that have become SEALs in history since 1943. That started, by the way, right here in Fort Pierce, Florida. Only about 45 minutes south of this location. If you've never been there, you should. What's really interesting about the SEAL training, attention to detail is so important. It's the most critical factor to any success. And by the way, I should mention that there's only really 2 reasons people fail. Okay? There's really 2 reasons people fail. They give up, or they don't even try. You hear that? They don't even try. People, before you get to an evolution, they quit. They didn't even try to log PT, picking these heavy logs, do it. They just looked at it and says, no, I can't do that. They quit. You'll never accomplish anything if you quit. If you don't try it, okay? Especially if you don't try it. And you've got to try something before you know whether or not you really want to do it. Yeah, you won't like that food. Oh, try it. Whoa, what do you know? It's amazing. I got to have more of that. So everything in life, everybody here has done something that you tried, and all of a sudden you liked it. And if you never tried it, then you got to go back and take a look. I know so many individuals that told me, wow, I wanted to go to SEAL training, but I just thought it was too hard. And that's, well, how do you know it was too hard? You didn't even try to do it. It's not impossible, is it? It's not impossible because there are men still today are making it through the program. It's just a really detailed process. You got to make it through every single evolution every day. You can't fail anything. So you have a class like our class of 19 guys, and we do this thing called a beach run. The instructor leads you on a run. And as you start at this big tower right there, as you stand next to the tower, you look, it's really tall. As you run away from it, it gets smaller. So as you're running back and you see that tower again, where you started that beginning, you notice that the tower is getting bigger and bigger. Your enthusiasm, as you're running, if you're doing running, you're looking at something ahead of you. I'm going to make it to that point. Then you pick out another point. But here that tower is so prominent when you're coming down the beach. You can see it. You know that's where you started. And every day, the instructor runs down the beach, runs back, stops there, right there at the same place he started, turns around, and if you're not with him, you're going to be in the goon squad. I'll get to the goon squad in a minute. It is just exactly like it sounds. When the instructor is leading an evolution, there's only one rule. And the rule is stay with the instructor. What's the rule?
Stay with the instructor.
Okay, does anybody doubt that rule? Come stay with the instructor. So as you run down the beach, the instructor speeds up, slows down, and does circles. All right? Remember the guys in the Olympics I was just telling you about? They had them spread out? Well, hey, at SEAL training, same thing happens. Guys spread out. I don't know why. Hey, I think it may have happened to me a couple of times. But I can tell you, when he slows down, you better catch up. But when the instructor, as you're running along, he speeds up, you will speed up. And when he slows down, you're going to slow down. And when he does circles, you're going to, come on, you're going to do circles with him. Of course you are. Ever wonder why he does circles? Why somebody who's leading you on a run does circles? Well, I have done a lot of miles of running, and especially behind the instructor, and I've come up with the solution, the answer as to why he does circles. There's really 2 reasons. One is that he might have picked me as I may have been hanging back, and he says, I'm going to let Pishdad catch up. And there's maybe several guys. Bill may be between me and the instructor. He didn't worry about him, but I can tell you, any man between me and that instructor better catch up as fast as you can. Because as soon as I get there, if I'm the guy he picked, he's going to take off again. What do I got to do? Suck it up. There's no excuses why I couldn't stay with him. I got to suck it up. The best way to run with an instructor is emulate exactly what they do. You duplicate. You look at how they run their stride, where their hands are, how their chest is on, how they're breathing. You just try to match exactly what they're doing, and you'll be with them. Hey, listen, we have the fittest quitters in Navy SEAL training. The fittest quitters. It's really not a factor of can they do it. It's just that they mentally give up. Okay? When that instructor sprints really hard and you're trying to dig deep to get a bigger breath and get that stride, and you just quit on yourself. You're quitting on yourself. It's not that you can't do it, because they can. They have accomplished an incredible feat just to get there physically. And all you got to do is put out 100+% every day, and you build on that progressive training, because the next day you're going to do the same thing plus a little bit more, and so forth and so on every single day. You're going to add more to it. Does that make sense? So by the time you finish training, you're not Superman, but you are super trained, and you are very strong. You know, what before it seemed like a 1 mile was a struggle, 10 miles is nothing. All right. But granted, no matter how far you run, you still got to put out a lot of energy. And you always have to keep that focus, self-confidence, and attention to detail. Now, every time that instructor, when he comes back and he turns around, and if you're not with him, you go in that goon squad. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, usually we're off on the weekends, unless you're doing some specialized training elsewhere. He turns around at that same place, and you see it coming, that big tower, and he stops and he turns around. And you want to be with him because you get secured right away, you get ready to go prepare for the next evolution. Starts in a few minutes. I mean, one evolution after the other. Start at 5 o'clock in the morning until, well, it could be 0 dark 30, because until everything's done correctly, you don't get secured every single day. But on day 5, instead of 50 yards before he would sprint to that line, now he's sprinting about 100 yards before that line. Exactly at that very moment, what are you thinking right now? Come on, quickly. Anybody who's got the answer? Come on, quick. What are you thinking?
Stay with him. Stay with him.
Copy him.
Anybody here raise a hand that says the finish line's almost up ahead? I got to keep up with the instructor. No. All you're thinking is stay with the instructor. But I'll tell you, I have spoken to many students that are getting ready to start training the next day, and one kid will say, "We're almost at the finish line," and all these other candidates like little monkeys. Yeah. And I'm going like, no, you're not, because the truth is, the rule was stay with the instructor. So does it really matter if you run 20 yards, 200 yards, or 2 miles past that line? No, because there's two things that instructor knows that you don't, and neither one matter. What the pace is going to be during the run, which I explained the pace, and the second was when he's going to stop. Oh, by the way, when he does the circles, there's 2 reasons why he does the circles. One is let you catch up, as I mentioned earlier. The other is, you ready for this? He's human too. He gets tired, so he wants to slow down and catch up. Okay, he's running. I'm serious. He's running pretty darn hard. Okay, he's got a nice little pace going. He wants to rest a little bit, so he takes that opportunity while he's resting, give you a little bit of a break, but get that class back together. Trying to gel, trying to form a unity of individuals, trying to create what's called a team of individuals. 19 of us created that team in a very short period of time. And that's why we always were together. Some guys, if you got a little slower, you reach back. If you're in the guy in front of you, he starts slacking up, you just reach back and push him in the shoulder, keep him up there, and you give him words of encouragement. Come on, I know you can do it. Come on, Charlie. Come on, you can do it. Come on, stay with us. Don't give up. Don't quit. None of us did. The goon squad. Well, you might have seen pictures of guys laying in the surf, arm in arm, and that water is a little about less than 60 degrees temperature. So you're already really tired from running, you're hot and sweaty, you get chilled really quick and you go into hypothermic state. And just before they know the time how long you could be in the water, just before you're totally shivering and you think this is really bad, they pull you out, get you in the sand, and you get what they call a sugar cookie. You get totally covered in the sand, on your clothes and your hairs and your face, your ears, everywhere, all over. And by the way, you have to remember that when you start out the day in SEAL training, you will stay in the same uniform until you're secured at night, whenever that time is. So here it is early in the morning, we're doing this beach run. You're going to be in that sandy, wet uniform until it dries out and the sand maybe falls off. But to make it worse, then after you're rolled in the sand, you're all gritty and everything, to get you up to the push-up position. And your feet open the berm of sand, you're leaning down, and everybody here has probably done push-ups, 20. Well, we usually say hoo-yah to the instructor after you do 20 push-ups in first phase training. And if the instructor thinks you did it okay, you did the push-ups correctly, he'll say recover. That's the only word. recover. And if you don't hear that word, another 20. All right? And if you don't do them right, you'll probably keep staying there until, well, maybe you'll quit. We want to find out who really wants this training or not. So you lean in the leaner rest, and in this particular case, you maybe do about 80 push-ups. And then the instructor says these words. Remember attention to detail? Gentlemen, no one's getting up until somebody quits. No one's getting up until somebody quits. And what's really unique in the armed forces is that on every uniform, there's a name tag right here on the right side, on the right side of your chest. Your name tag's here. Your branch of service is over here. And even today, I have never met the individual whose name is somebody. Gentlemen, no one's getting up until somebody quits. But believe it or not, an individual will decide to change their name to somebody. So if you don't want to be a somebody, you want to be someone special. All right? And you are someone special because you have come together as a unity of men, formed together to help encourage each other to accomplish a common goal, to serve our Lord, to be together, to help each other be better men, be better examples. Leadership, which is the last part of your word, F.U.E.L, does not come necessarily with rank. It's not dependent on rank, okay? It's dependent on your ability to lead. And those who lead get rewarded through rank. Colonel, am I right? Absolutely. So it doesn't matter what your rank is in the armed forces. I was an E3, which is a seaman or a fireman, depending on what rating you're working in the Navy. And I was giving directions to a captain in charge of amphibious landing because I was the cartographer in our platoon. I was demonstrating leadership. And as I got more opportunities, because I was demonstrating great leadership, I was rewarded with rank. So rank does not necessarily mean you're a good leader. What's dependent is on your ability to be a leader, and do you deserve that rank? Does that make sense, everybody here?
Yeah.
So wherever we're doing, to be Christians, we have to always demonstrate great leadership. We have to be the example. Hey, what would Jesus do?
Amen.
Right, you've heard that, right? Well, am I doing the right thing? Somebody just dropped a wallet. Do I just pick it up, or do I, hey, excuse me, you just dropped your wallet. You already know the right thing. We were all trained a certain way in our growth through the church as you were growing up. And that's our responsibility as leaders, to unite together to help other individuals become better leaders. And that's the best thing about my opportunity to become a lieutenant commander. My goal in life now is to reach back and pull someone else up to what their dreams are, what they want to become. You have your own individual ideas of what you want to do and where you're going. But together, everyone in this room achieves more because we're assisting each other, we're encouraging. It's the same thing as the Navy SEAL teams. That's why they accomplish so much, because they always work together toward this common mission. We're not Supermen. Okay? Let me give you the best example. Last summer, I got the privilege of playing with Doug Williams. Anybody know who Doug Williams is? Played golf with him. Okay? But he's a football player. In fact, let me just tell you. So there I am at the Paralyzed Veterans Golf Open in Lansdowne, Virginia, near the Dulles International Airport. And I'm there in my golf cart. And Mr. Williams comes up, and he's about almost 7 feet tall, and huge hands. And this guy's whispering to his ear, and he's looking over at me, and they're pointing at me. He goes, and I'm going like, what is he telling him? So he comes over to me, and he goes, "You're a Navy SEAL." And I said, "You're a professional football player." He goes, "But you're a Navy SEAL." I said, "Doug, you are a professional football player, Washington Redskin, winning Super Bowl quarterback, and the first black athlete to ever do so."
They beat my Buffalo Bills.
And he says, "But you're a Navy SEAL." I said, "Doug, let me ask you 2 questions, just 2. every day that you were learning to go to become a professional football player, did it seem that no matter how difficult it was, no how much energy it required you to accomplish each goal every day, that no matter what they threw at you, you had an insatiable appetite for more. You just wanted more of it. You couldn't get enough of it. He said, absolutely, every single day. I just loved it. Couldn't wait till the next day. I said, hold that thought. All right. So, every time you got to play a game, the night before, I had a hard time putting your head on the pillow, go sleep, because you were so excited with the game you're about to play, especially the Super Bowl? He said, every single game I ever played. I said, so Doug, I have the same passion. He said, my passion was to be a frogman, to be a Navy SEAL. So we're not any different. We're exactly the same. We have passion, we pursued that passion, we have self-confidence, and we paid attention to detail to accomplish those goals. Agreed?
Yeah.
He said, but you're a Navy SEAL. He said, but you're a Navy SEAL. And I'm like, Doug, let's go play golf and have fun. Look, I think I'm about to expire my time. I want to say that it's been a real privilege and an honor to come over and help give you a little bit of motivation. You know, you're all leaders. You should, be looking at what you do every day. Do one thing for me, or mainly for yourself. Look in that mirror before you leave, and you look there and you say to yourself, yeah, I'm that man. The man that I want to be. I'm that guy. People depend on me for leadership, for faith, for unity, for evangelistic support. Be that man that you are now every single day of your life. You'll accomplish more than you could ever imagine because you are that man. All right, listen, thank you very much, and I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Guys, you guys know, those of you that come to F.U.E.L, we're going to talk about leadership, we're going to talk about unity, and I love that Amir hit on both of those things today. One of the things that stuck out about what you said, Amir, early on, right? He's going into that recruiter's office, and the guy looks at him, and what does he ask him? Who the heck is this guy, right? Who are you? If we were going to ask you guys that today, you may say, I'm a dad, I'm a grandpa, I'm a car guy, I'm a husband, I love adventure. It's our hope that every single guy would be able to say, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. Amen. Right?
Amen.
I have a relationship with Jesus. That's what we're about. And Amir, thank you so much for coming today and reminding us of that, of all the things that we are and all the things that we can do. The most important thing is our faith, right? So thank you guys very much for being here. We're excited about next week. We have a missionary coming in from Peru, Craig Tippy. If you guys know Craig and Daisy, they're full-time missionaries in Peru, and so would love to have you come back. Amir, you're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you back as well. So that's all we have. Let me pray for us, and then Bill, anything else you would want to add? No? I'll pray, and we'll wrap up. Heavenly Father, thank you so much just for the opportunity for us to come here today, for us to be in unity, for us to hear an inspiring story about a man who he doesn't have any quit in him. He is a strong leader, and he's been an inspiration to me, and I know he has for the rest of the guys as well. So thank you for Amir and the encouragement he brought to us today. Father, I pray that every one of us today would walk out and we just consider that question: who are we? What's the most important way we can answer that question, God? I know that you would say it's that we have a relationship with your Son, Jesus. And so I pray that every man here today would consider, who are you? First and foremost, who are you? It's in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right, thanks, guys.
Don't forget the pickle jar.
Look at my hands, but that's okay. I did become a fine owner
You do a hitch in the army, or you do a career?
Have a career, I guess you'd say. I was an officer.